Today we will discuss about research methodology, right? Uh, Subject with the research hypothesis, right? Research hypothesis. So then already we have discussed about research hypothesis. In research hypothesis is a statement, right? Already we have discussed. It's a statement that suggests a relationship between variables. Statement that suggests a relationship between variables. So predict the outcome of a research study. Predict. So two things we can talk about the hypothesis. One is the statement that suggests a relationship between variables or predicts the outcome of a research study. So then predict means in advance you can predict so the research can produce this outcome. So then based on that, we try to scientifically collect the data and test the hypothesis whether that outcome could be achieved or not, right? So it is an essential component, right? It's very important aspects of a scientific research process and serve as a tentative explanation, right? It is an essential component of the scientific research process and serve as a tentative explanation or proposition that the researcher seeks to test and validate through empirical investigation. In, so then normally in the quantitative research studies, if there's any hypothesis, researchers try to gather the data scientifically, right, and try to test that hypothesis, right, with the help of the data. So then definitely when we talk about this hypothesis, normally hypothesis are uh, a guide. It's provide the direction and the focus in the investigation on a specific objectives, right? Whereas normally hypotheses are derived based on the research objectives. Already we have discussed about the research begins with the research problem identification. After the problem identification, research question. From the research question, researchers create the research objectives. From the research objectives, then they can develop the research hypothesis. So that's why the research hypothesis always uh, essential for guiding the research process and providing direction and focusing on the uh, direction, right? Focusing on the investigation. And now you see the definitions of hypothesis, right? Definition of hypothesis. A hypothesis is in a research is an educated guess or proposition, right? A hypothesis in research is an educated guess or proposition that guides the researcher's investigations, right? So then this hypothesis in research is an educated guess, right, or proposition that how they can we can say the educated guess because based on the previous literature, so we can guess, right, so some outcome of the research if we uh, initiate. So that's a educated guess means that with the, based on the evidence, we can guess something and we can have a formulate some statement that also related to some variables, right? And the proposition also. That guides the researcher's investigation. So it is a clear, concise, contestable statement, right? It is a clear, concise, and testable statement that proposes a relationship between variables or predicts an outcome based on existing knowledge or theoretical frameworks. Right, so now you can understand it is a clear, concise, and testable statement. So that is, you should understand always the hypotheses are testable and it should be clear and concise, means very short, concise, right? It's meaningful. That's the meaning, right? So then it is a clear, concise, and testable statement that proposes a relationship between variables or predicts an outcome based on existing knowledge or theoretical frameworks. So then, as I said earlier, it is a An educated guess, that means based on the existing knowledge or theoretical framework, that you all know that existing knowledge or theoretical frameworks always derived from the existing research, literature, right? So previously we have detailedly discussed about the literature. Now you can understand how the hypotheses are formulated based on the existing knowledge. Researchers try to predict something, guess something, and try to find some relations between the variable based on the existing knowledge, right? So then the types of hypothesis, when we talk about the null hypothesis. So null hypothesis, normally it suggests that there's no significant relationship or effect. So that means when we talk about a true variable, the null hypothesis suggests there is no any significant relationship between that variable. Researchers often attempt to reject the null hypothesis to support the alternative hypothesis, simply because they can say null hypothesis rejecting, right? Rejecting the null hypothesis. That means uh, uh, so we can say some example. Right? We can see null hypothesis, right? Uh, See, does social media advertising increase the brand awareness more than traditional advertising? This is a research question. So then, based on that, there may be a null hypothesis can be derived. So that means social media advertising does not increase brand awareness more than traditional advertising. So then, according to this null hypothesis, you can see, right, social media advertising does not increase brand awareness more than traditional advertising. So that means it says there is no relationship between social media advertising and brand awareness compared to traditional advertising. But researchers try to do the research. You can understand normally researchers consider the alternative hypothesis. So that's why H1, right? Alternative hypothesis. That means social media advertising increases brand awareness more than additional advertising. So for the knowledge only, I am explaining this null hypothesis and alternative hypothesis. Most of the researchers only they are talking about this one. They don't talk about the or they don't talk about the uh, null hypothesis. So researchers normally include uh, researchers always include alternative hypotheses in their study. But you should know that hypothetically there's a chance, right? So that's why null hypothesis also there, right? Social media sometimes does not increase the brand awareness more than additional advertising. But researchers expecting social media advertising increases brand awareness more than traditional advertising. So then they are going to collect the data to test this one. Which one? Alternative hypothesis. Normally data are collected to test the alternative hypothesis, right? But opposite to the alternative hypothesis is the null hypothesis. That means there is no relationship, right? So you should understand the difference between the null hypothesis and alternative hypothesis. So then alternative hypothesis are mentioned, or null hypothesis always mentioned as a HO, or sometimes a subscript HO, right? HO means null hypothesis, but alternative hypotheses are always mentioned as H1 or HA, like that, right? This is the symbol. So alternative hypothesis, it proposes specific relationship or effect. And rejecting null hypothesis, implies support for the alternative hypothesis. So then based on this question, right, according to this, you see, does social media advertising increase the brand awareness more than additional advertising? So then they try to write the alternative hypothesis like this. Social media advertising increase brand awareness more than traditional advertising. Then they collect the data about this social media advertising and traditional advertising and brand awareness, and then they try to test that hypothesis by doing some statistical analysis. They can test the hypothesis, right? Whether they can accept this alternative hypothesis or reject the null hypothesis. That means when they are accepting the alternative hypothesis, that means there is a relationship. That means the social media advertising increase the brand awareness. So automatically null hypothesis is rejected, right? So then now you don't worry about null hypothesis rejected or accepting alternative hypothesis, but always researchers try to consider the alternative hypothesis in their work to create the relationship or to predict the outcome. That's why alternative hypotheses are always right mentioned as H1 or HA like that. It proposes a specific relationship or effect. So then rejecting the null hypothesis implies right support or alternative hypothesis. In this case, right, social media advertising increase the brand awareness than the traditional advertising. That means we accept the alternative hypothesis and we reject the null hypothesis, right? So another one is the directional hypothesis. Predict the directions of the expected relationship or effect A is greater than B, right? A is greater than B. So here we can have some hypothesis and direction hypothesis to understand, right? Right. So now you see the research questions. Will discount of 20% increase the number of purchases more than a discount of 10%? So then they can have a research questions. Will discount of 20%, because there are two different discounts they write to give. One is 20% discount, another one is 10% discount. And then they write to find is there any difference between these two discounts to increase the purchase. Right, so that's why they write to predict the outcome. Will discount of 20% increase the number of purchase more than a discount of 10%? That means they are expecting giving a 20% discount may increase the purchase right intention or purchase chance compared to the discount of 10%. So then this is a directional hypothesis. A discount of 20% will increase the number of purchases more than a discount of 10%. So here, marketers to test this hypothesis uh, by running a marketing campaign with the two different discount levels and comparing the number of purchases, right, made during the each campaign, during the 20% campaign and 10% campaign. So then they can test if definitely purchase increase during the 20% discount compared to 10% discount campaign, then they can accept the directional hypothesis. That means 20% discount increase the number of purchase, right, more than the 10% discount. So then they can accept this alternative hypothesis and reject the null hypothesis. So then another one, non-directional hypothesis. That means does not specify the direction of the relationship or effect. There is a difference between A and B, but they don't know whether A increase or B increase. That's why they can say it's a non-directional, right? Non-directional hypothesis. That also we can see. See here, is there a difference in customer satisfaction between online and in-store shopping experience. Is there a difference? So then they have a question, is there a difference in customer satisfaction, right, between online and in-store shopping experience? So then they want to, right, test it. Is there any say, difference in customer satisfaction they are getting from the online shopping experience or in-store shopping experience? So then they can have a non-direction hypothesis. They don't know which one is giving. That's why there is a difference in customer satisfaction between online and in-store shopping experience. So then this hypothesis is not a directional. Sometimes in-store shopping experience can give satisfaction, or sometimes online shopping experience can provide the satisfaction. So then they can collect the data about uh, satisfaction of online shopping experience and satisfaction of in-store shopping experience, and they can compare the results. Finally, they can find the relationship. That's why it is not a directional one. And now you can understand these are the hypotheses. Now you see the nature of the hypothesis. Nature of hypothesis: testable, falsifiable, clear and specific, based on existing knowledge, right? Based on existing knowledge. So then we will see that how, right, the nature of the hypothesis is working. Uh, right, nature of a hypothesis. Now you see uh, testable hypothesis. A hypothesis must be formulated, right, in a way that allows it to be tested through the empirical result. It would be specific and measurable, right? Say, for example, a company wants to test whether email marketing leads to higher sales compared to the social media marketing, right? So the company wants to test. What is the test the company is going to do? Compare email marketing and right, social media marketing. So that's why company want to test whether email marketing leads to higher sales compared to social media marketing. So then then the researcher can write the hypothesis or formulate the hypothesis. Email marketing will lead to is 20% increase in sales compared to social media marketing over a 3-month period. So in this way, they can formulate the hypothesis. This hypothesis is testable, right? Because they can test it. This hypothesis is testable because sales data can be measured and compared, right? Sales data can be measured and compared uh, for the two marketing methods over the specific period of time. Now you can understand the meaning of testable. Another one is the falsifiable. A falsifiable means a good hypothesis is one that can be proven false. So if it cannot be falsified or tested, it lacks scientific clarity. That means when we try to formulate the hypothesis, there may be a chance to get a right um, reject the hypothesis. So we cannot expect always our hypothesis should be accepted. Some cases, the hypothesis may be rejected, right? Alternative hypothesis may be rejected. So then that's why a good hypothesis is one that can proven false, right? If it cannot be falsified or tested, uh, we cannot say scientifically it's a valid hypothesis. So example, a marketer wants to determine, if changing the color of a buy now button from a green to red increase the click-through rate on a website, right? So website, you see buttons are there. A marketer wants to determine. That means they want to decide if changing the color of a buy now button from green to red increase the click-through rates on a website. So that's why they can formulate a hypothesis like changing the buy now button color from green to red will increase the click-through rate by 10%. So this hypothesis is possible because if the click-through rate does not increase by 10%, the hypothesis is proven false, right? So like that, there's a chance to reject the hypothesis as well. Another one is a clear and specific, right? A hypothesis should be clear and specific, avoiding ambiguity, right? Avoiding ambiguity. It should precisely state the expected relationship or outcome, right? It should clearly state the expected relationship. That's why it should be clear and specific. Example, we can see some example. A retailer wants to see if offering free shipping, right, on orders over $50 will increase the average order value, right? A retailer wants to see if offering free shipping on order over $50 will increase the average order value. So then that's why they clearly they mention when they increase the right that the order value, right? Uh, when they are giving a shipping on orders over $50. So then they can formulate a hypothesis like offering a free shipping on orders over $50 will increase the average order value by 15%. That means that for the then they expect when they are giving a free shipping over order $50 value, so most of the people try to make an order. That's why they expect to increase the average order value, right? So then this is clear and specific. It defines a condition. What is the condition? Free shipping is on orders over. They are giving a free shipping for over $50. And the expected outcome also clear, 15% increase in average order value, right? So that's why that clear and specific. Another one, based on the existing knowledge, hypothesis should be grounded in existing theory, literature, observations. They are not arbitrary guesses, but informed predictions. Already we discussed about educated guess, like based on the hypothesis can be formulated based on the existing knowledge. Hypothesis should be grounded in existing theory, literature, or observations. They are not arbitrary guess, but informed prediction, right? So then hypothesis, say for example, based on previous studies or the existing studies shows that personalized recommendations increase sales. A company wants to test this on their website, right? So then based on the knowledge only they can do that. So implementing personalized product recommendation on the home page will increase sales by 20% over 6 months. This is the hypothesis. This hypothesis is based on the existing knowledge from previous studies and theories about the effectiveness of personalized recommendation. So then these they cannot simply guess without existing knowledge, because an existing knowledge means already researchers have done some research related to the recommendation, right? Uh, and then they are expecting personalized recommendation can boost the sales, right? Boost the sales. A company want to test this on their website. So that's why they can create the new based on that knowledge. That means a personalized recommendation from the previous research. There's a knowledge. That means there's a concept that personalized recommendation boost the sales. So then a particular company also want to test that in their website, then they can create or formulate the hypothesis based on the previous knowledge created by the researchers. And characteristics of uh, hypothesis. A good hypothesis is clear and ambiguous, ensuring that it is easily understood and tested. Another one is specificity. The hypothesis should be specific, addressing a particular relationship or effect rather than making a broad statement. So that's why you can see the hypotheses are maybe a very uh, sentence, one sentence, I say compact sentence is specifically explain the association between the variable or expected outcome. And testability, another one. A hypothesis must be formulated in a way that allows it to be tested through empirical research involving measurable variables. And feasibility, it should be possible to prove the hypothesis falls through empirical evidence. Lack of possibility undermines scientific validity. Already we said sometimes when we formulate the uh, hypothesis, there's a chance to reject the hypothesis. But uh, most of the researchers, most of the time, hypotheses are accepted, but there are chances, right? In some cases, there are chances to reject the hypothesis. That means if all the hypotheses be accepted, then we cannot say that scientifically we are making a statement. But that when we are making a statement, there's a chance to accept or to reject, right? Another one, functions of hypothesis, right? Functions of hypothesis. Guidance. Hypothesis guide the researcher by providing a clear direction for the research process and testable prediction. They allow researchers to make specific predictions that can be tested, leading to confirmation or rejection of the hypothesis. In focus and relevance, hypotheses help focus research efforts on specific variables and relationships deemed relevant to the study, and peer testing as well. The hypothesis provide a means for testing and validating existing theories or conceptual framework. Right? So in summary, research hypothesis is a crucial component when we have discussed deeply. That's all about hypothesis. Now you can have some idea about the hypothesis.